What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful fight fans across the world? And I promise that we're gonna be back. I saw y'all in the old videos saying, "Where's Insomnia MMA? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?" We're gonna get into all that at the end, but right now, the reason I came back, okay, we have a great card this weekend. But let me just say before that, also, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I missed you guys, man. I love you guys, and we're gonna come and bust out these videos from here on out. But this Saturday, the UFC cooked up for us, okay? The UFC cooked up for us, but I'm gonna be talking about the main event. This weekend, we get the Volkanovski comeback. Okay, he's gonna cement himself as the featherweight GOAT. Okay, this is not a sad video. We're not crying. This Saturday, he's gonna cement himself as the featherweight GOAT. We not going for Diego Lopez. We going for Volk out there and put on a vintage Volkanovski performance for us. He's gonna break the 35 curse. Okay, none of that. We not hearing none of that. Short notice, blah, blah, blah. Is Ilya Topuria, Islam Makhachev, blah, blah, blah. We not talking about none of that. We talking about how Volkanovski's going to come back and win that belt and cement himself as the featherweight GOAT since Ilya Topuria moved up to lightweight anyways. Okay? If Volkanovski goes out there this Saturday, and I believe he will, go put on a vintage Volkanovski performance on Diego Lopez and win that belt back, he's for sure the featherweight GOAT, and people gotta give him his respect after that. But let's get into the actual breakdown of this fight. Let's actually talk about it on a deeper level. Let's lock in. Okay, let's lock in. First, we'll talk about, let's say, the challenger. Okay, I know they're fighting for a vacant belt, but let's say the challenger, Diego Lopez. Okay, because Volkanovski, come on, even though he's not the champ, he's the champ. You know what I mean? Like, even though he's not the champ, he's the champ. Okay, you know what I mean? But Diego Lopez, it's kind of crazy. He came into the UFC like 2 years ago, like 2023. He debuted in like 2023, 2022 against Movsar Evloev. Put up a really good fight, but did lose to Movsar Evloev. Okay, and if you rewatch that fight, when Movsar Evloev had him in a full guard and all that, he was putting damage on Diego Lopez. That's where Movsar was doing his best work, when he had Diego Lopez in full guard. But also Diego Lopez, dangerous off his back, was catching Movsar in a couple of submissions. But I just watched Yair Rodriguez fight with Volkanovski, and his full guard ground and pound was insane. He was landing full guard ground and pound on Islam Makhachev, the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. Okay, so even though a lot of people are saying Volkanovski shouldn't grapple in this fight, I think later on, maybe not, or maybe earlier on in the fight, I think Volk should definitely mix the martial arts on Diego Lopez. I think that would be his secret to success. I feel like he should just put on a very mixed performance, a mixed martial arts performance. I want to see vintage Volkanovski out there. But let's keep talking about Diego Lopez, okay? After that, he goes and fights with Gavin Tucker, wins via first round submission, okay? Fights against Pat Sabatini, wins by first round knockout. That's the knockout. Then he fights Sadiq Youssef at UFC 300. Gets a first round TKO. TKO'd him in the clinch. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, okay? That one we're going to talk about in a little bit. Then he goes and fights Dan Ige, and that was a very interesting fight too at UFC 303, because Dan Ige was coming off the couch. He pulled a Volkanovski, okay? Came off on short notice and put up a great fight up against Diego Lopez. Okay, he won by unanimous decision, but it was a shaky one, my boys. It was a shaky one. And then he had his last win at UFC 306 against Brian Ortega. Pretty much won every round. Wasn't that close of a fight after he rocked him in that first round. But yeah, he's on a hot streak in the UFC right now. He brought himself up to a title very quickly. And after that, after that debut he had against Movsar Evloev, everybody opened their eyes to, bro. Everybody's like, damn, he's gonna be a problem at featherweight, and he obviously is, because he worked himself up to a title. So shout out Diego Lopez for that. I really won't be mad if he becomes champ, but I just really want to see Volk win. That's all it is. I just really want to see Volkanovski win. I feel like the MMA gods have been depriving us of what we need lately, and I feel like a Volkanovski win would just make everything feel right again in my life. Okay, not just in the UFC, in my own personal life. I think I would just be more of a boss if Volkanovski won on Saturday. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I would just be. I feel like the grass would be greener if Volkanovski wins this Saturday. If you're trying to get what I'm saying, okay? I feel like, you know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say, okay? You know what I'm trying to say. You know what point I'm trying to get across. But let's talk about those Diego Lopez fights. So the Dan Ige one, he was gassing out, okay? He was gassing out in that fight. It was a little shaky for bro. It was a little shaky for bro. He was like in that third round, in that second round, in that first round, he comes out like a bat out of hell. He's going crazy at Dan Ige, throwing every strike has power up behind it. Every strike he's winging it, and then later on, because he's throwing so many strikes with so much power, he can't keep it up, so he's gassing out. If he does it against Volkanovski and Volkanovski survives the first or second round, it's not gonna be good for Diego Lopez. Okay, Volkanovski puts on a good pace. He has great cardio. We know he has 5-round cardio. And that Dan Ige fight, I bet Volkanovski's team is watching it very closely. Okay, but a strength I have for Sadiq Youssef, not for Sadiq Youssef, for Diego Lopez is go back to that Sadiq Youssef fight. When Sadiq Youssef got him in the clinch and stuff, he just winged punches in the clinch. He knocked him out in the clinch, basically, which was crazy. And if Volkanovski tries to tie up Diego Lopez, they get a little hectic. He ties him up, and Diego Lopez throws some shots in the clinch. That's the only way I can see Diego Lopez winning this fight. I feel like he has to make it crazy and knock out Volk. Like, he has to catch him off guard in the clinch or throw a crazy combo, and then they're like in chaos, and then he somehow wings a punch at him that lands. That's the only way I see Diego Lopez winning, and he definitely has a solid chance of winning. I think this fight is very 50-50, okay? Even though Volkanovski, yeah, he is the featherweight GOAT. He, we know how great he is. He put up one of the greatest fights ever against Islam Makhachev. But just the fact that he's coming off 2 KO losses. Let's talk about Volkanovski's fights now. He's coming back off of 2 KO losses. Even though it's been a year now. It's been a year. Still, he took 2 back-to-back KO losses. Okay, I took neurobiology, my boys. Okay, once you get hit in the brain once, your brain's never the same again. When you get concussed once, your brain's never the same again. The neurons that die, it's crazy work. Okay, and then after that, it's easier for you to get KO'd. It's easier for your brain to get damaged after that, because your brain don't heal. Okay, your brain don't heal. Like, you have to think of your brain as like cotton candy or an onion. Like, once it gets clipped, it just gets like smaller, in a way. If that kind of makes sense. Like, after those 2 fights back to back, he took that. I don't know if I can trust Volkanovski's chin. Okay, but I'm seeing pictures of him lately, and he's looking jacked. He's looking ready. And if Volkanovski comes in like he did against Yair Rodriguez, or he comes in like he did against Islam Makhachev in their first fight, or he comes in like he did for the 3rd Max Holloway fight, it's going to be an easy night for Volkanovski. Okay, his strengths, for sure, are his fight experience. He's fought way better competition than Diego Lopez. Miles better than Diego Lopez. He has way more fighting IQ, that's for sure. He has way better cardio and endurance. 4 or 5 rounds, we know that. And I feel like his striking is cleaner. Okay, maybe he doesn't have as much power as Diego Lopez, but I feel like he manages distance better. And those Volkanovski leg kicks, he throws a combo, hits you with a leg kick. He throws a leg kick out of nowhere. He throws a kick to your head. He's always just throwing a strike at you, keeping you busy, keeping you on your heels. I feel like that's Volkanovski's secret to success. Okay, and also, I feel like he should mix in the grappling. Even though it's going to be kind of scary with Diego Lopez, he is a good grappler. He has good jiu-jitsu. He's good off his back. But still, I feel like he should mix the martial arts against Diego Lopez if he wants to win this fight. What I don't see good for Volkanovski, obviously, took 2 back-to-back KO losses, even though it's been a year. Still, I don't know if his chin is the same. And the 35 curse. Okay, I believe that if anybody's going to break it, it is Volkanovski. But the 35 curse, okay, there is something to that. Okay, they're like 2 and 30 above the age of 35 fighting in the lower weight classes, and Volkanovski's 36. So, He might be a little slower. His chin might not be the same, but we're going to see this Saturday about all that. Those are just what ifs. Let's talk about the pros for Diego Lopez, okay? He definitely has the finishing ability early, for sure. I feel like he can get the knockout early. He's not going to sub Volk. If he subs Volk, I don't know. Diego Lopez might be the GOAT of the sport if he subs Volkanovski, but he's not going to sub, bro, okay? He's going to knock him out. That's the only way he's going to win this fight in the first or second round. That's the only way I see him winning, knocking out Volkanovski in the first or second round. And you know what I'm going to say, too? The UFC wants Diego Lopez to win. They do not want Volkanovski to win. Okay, they want the passing of the new guard. They want somebody they can promote that's new, that's fresh, that's going to stay in the UFC for a while. They know Volkanovski probably only has a couple more fights in him, even if he wins this one. Maybe he'll fight Mavzar after. Maybe he'll retire even after this. Who knows what Volkanovski's going to do? And that's also something I don't like for Volkanovski in this fight also, that, he already accomplished so much in the sport. Like, he's already so ahead of so many people in this sport. He's one of the greatest already. Okay, does he want it bad enough? Obviously, Diego Lopez wants it bad enough. He never tasted the belt. He never had that kind of life. He never had that kind of money. So that's something you got to take into account. Also, he's way hungrier. He wants, he's way hungrier. He wants the belt. He wants the belt. He never touched the gold before in the UFC. And, he's going to come into this fight ready. I believe that. Diego Lopez is coming to this fight ready. I don't know if that's good for Volkanovski. Okay, but the bad things for Diego Lopez, he don't got the experience. He only been in the UFC for 2 years, even though he's been, at UFC 300, UFC 295. That was a big card, too. A bunch of cards, almost on the main card. I don't know. Maybe he sees Volkan. There's too much pressure for bro. It's too much pressure for bro. He pulled up against Mavzar in his debut and he had no pressure, so I don't think that would be a concern, really. But still. Volkanovski, a different beast. You see that bald, shiny head across from you, putting his hand up in the air, that might make you feel a little different. You might feel the pressure a little bit. I feel like, that's definitely a thing. And obviously, his cardio. Okay, we don't know how he's going to do in the later rounds. And that's about it, guys. That's about it. That's my main analysis of this fight. I feel like a lot of people are saying the exact same thing about this fight. Either Diego Lopez KOs Volk early, or we get a vintage Volkanovski performance. And I don't know. I just feel like there's something in the air. I feel like the MMA gods will reward us with a Volkanovski win. But that's it for this one. And I know it's been a while. I missed you guys. I'm mad busy. Got hella school stuff to do. Got hella work to do. But we're back, boys. We're back. And I'm going to bust these videos out more and more. This is just to get me back in the zone. And then we're coming back. Okay, we're dropping more frequently. I got y'all. Got a brand new computer too. So it's gonna be even higher quality videos from here on out. And let me just say, I love y'all. Anybody who comes and clicks on this video, I love you. Okay, I love you. But have a great day. We're gonna watch the fights. It's gonna be today. I'm gonna upload this video the day of the fight, so I don't think this video is gonna do that well. But have a great day. Enjoy the fights. Thank you for watching this. I missed y'all, and we're back. But thank y'all for watching this video. And I'll see you in the next one, man.